Your top stories this evening sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. Winston Jordan facts checks Charan Das Prasad. Coalition government took no loans after 2018 no confidence motion. Patterson exposes Jack Dio regarding Exim Bank loan approval. And Laura George mounts pressure on government regarding the revision of the Amerindian Act of 2006. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Monday, December 2nd edition of the HGP Nightly News. We have what you need to know this evening. A former finance minister has fact-checked his former colleague in Parliament over World Bank loans after the passage of the 2018 no confidence motion. You'll have more details in this report. Expelled Alliance for Change member Charan Das Prasad was spewing untruths when he said that the APNU-AFC government continued to take loans even after the passage of a no-confidence vote in 2018. Charan Das, who was ranting about how the People's Progressive Party civic government is managing the country, said that the incumbent party should not honor any loan agreements by the former coalition government after the passage of the 2018 no-confidence vote. Nightly News reached out to former finance minister under the David Granger government, Winston Jordan, for a response to the allegations by the former disgraced member of Parliament.
There's no way any international institution would have given us any new loans while the country was in that limbo as it related to no confidence motion. So we had no other loan other than that World Bank $20 million loan in the oil sector.
Jordan, in fact-checking Prasad, highlighted that after the Court of Appeal ruled in 2019 that the 2018 no confidence motion was not validly passed with 33 votes, then the World Bank approved the coalition's request for a loan.
The loan with the World Bank was signed March 30th, 2019, in a period when the government was validly in place because the Court of Appeal said the no confidence motion was invalidly passed, and therefore the government reverted to its normal legal sense, and therefore the loan was signed when the government was legal.
The former finance minister said that to date, even the People's Progressive Party civic is benefiting from that loan relative to the oil and gas sector,
which the PPP is using even as we speak, for the purposes for which the loan was sought. Now, if Mr. Charan Das wants to get back into the public limelight, he could do so in his own way, rather than imputing or implying or whatever else wrong to the coalition government.
Mr. Jordan said too that even after the COVID-19 pandemic had reached Guyana, the president of the World Bank was written to requesting emergency financial assistance, but the World Bank was not prepared to pen signature to any such loan.
But he had one of his lesser staff indicate to me that we can qualify for small grant assistance. Grant, but no loan assistance that was given to other territories in the Caribbean. Okay, so even as an emergency where many people were dying, the international institutions weren't prepared, or many of them weren't prepared to give us assistance, even in that kind of emergency assistance.
According to Jordan, perhaps Charan Das Prasad could continue to look for fame and fortune, but not in the financial sector. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. In this developing story, Antonio Day tells us that it appears as though Vice President Barra Jack Dio has jumped down a rabbit hole as it relates to the loan from the U.S. Export-Import Exim Bank for the gas-to-energy project.
Last Thursday at the press conference, General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic, Barra Jack Dio, said that the loan for the Wales gas-to-energy project has been approved by the board of Exim Bank, but was subsequently sent to the Congress for 30-day notification. After the loan is reviewed by Congress, Mr. Jack Dio said it would need to be brought back to the board for final approval.
The loan has been approved by the board of Exim Bank, and it has been sent to the Congress for 30 days notification.
Mr. Jagdeo also noted that the possibility exists that further approval of the more than $500 million may be withheld.
If the loan is made available, it will cover financing that the government of Guyana had to make during the period since the project started.
However, Alliance for Change Member of Parliament David Patterson, at a press conference on Friday, said that Jagdeo's revelations were disingenuous.
No approval was given by the Exim Bank at their last meeting in November.
According to Patterson, who cited information from an unnamed source at the Exim Bank, the financial institution will meet again on January 9, 2025, and only then will a final decision be made regarding the loan. If approved, it will then be sent to the Congress for approval. The former Minister of Public Infrastructure outlined the procedure for the loan to be.
Congress is now in what is termed their lame duck session, which is a period between the transition of administrations. When Congress is fully functional, the new Congress, the new subcommittee Congress, is normally tied up in matters required by the new administration, and it is not anticipated that this matter can reach discussion or approval before March 2024.
Additionally, Jagdeo stated that because the loan would only cover U.S. exports, the amount was lowered from $640 million to $509 million. He promised that the government will receive reimbursement for project expenses already incurred through retroactive financing. Patterson again said that this is contrary based on information from the Exim Bank.
On the question of retroactive finances, the statement goes, we are informed that statement from Jagdeo was strange. This is not something that the U.S. Exim Bank normally do. Since financing is based on their bylaws and have to comply with specific regulations, and since they played no part in the procurement process, retroactive finances would be unlikely.
Of the $761 million project, the state has already financed about $400 million. In August, the government said it will be willing to pay the remaining amount if the loan requested from Exim Bank was denied. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Is a grand coalition of political parties on the cards? We have the details in this Daisy Richards report.
Leader of the Working People's Alliance, WPA, Dr. David Hines, quieted rumors of his party being interested in rejoining the People's National Congress Reform and the Partnership for National Unity. The leader instead highlighted that they are interested in a grand coalition between the parties.
WPA is in no talks to rejoin APNU. WPA has not signaled that it will rejoin APNU. WPA is interested in a grand coalition to contest the next election.
Dr. Hines added that when his party speaks of a coalition, it will be each party acting in their own name, explaining that his party intends to engage parties as the WPA.
Going as an independent party in a grand coalition, you go with your own identity. We would prefer to go into the election as part of a coalition as WPA so that our identity is not smothered.
Highlighting that under the APNU, his party was silenced and the decisions were made by the leader of that party.
That is the reason we left the coalition, because decisions were made by the leader of APNU, who was the leader of the PNC, who made decisions for us, including who represented us in Parliament.
He added that with his party being independent, it intends to make decisions for itself and will pool decisions with other parties should there be a grand coalition. For HGP Nightly News, I am Daisy Richards.
A developing story, the error by the Guyana Elections Commission on the Join the Parliamentary Seat saga has caused irreparable damage to the integrity of the elections body, and as such, the Alliance for Change has lost all confidence in GECOM. Here's more.
Is actually on the agenda of the Commission And I know Madam Chair will not want to proffer any opinion at this point. It will be premature. It is a matter on the agenda.
But the legal opinion was proffered to the Commission.
That's correct. And the Commission needs to discuss it and decide as a collective as to the way forward.
That's Deputy Chief Elections Officer Anil Giddings admitting that the elections body erred by allowing the New Movement political party to take up the joint seat in the National Assembly. Now, leader of the Alliance for Change, Nigel Hughes, has expressed a total loss in confidence in the leadership of the Guyana Elections Commission. Hughes believes that the error by GECOM is tantamount to a gross dereliction of duty.
The Alliance for Change has lost confidence in the leadership of GECOM. And at this critical junction, with elections next year and several contentious issues ahead of us, we believe, at least at this point, we hope that the leadership of GECOM and the person of the chairman does the right thing.
Ahead of the 2020 elections, the Liberty and Justice Party, the New Movement, and the New and United Guyana came together after receiving a total of 5,214 votes and agreed to rotate the single seat won in the National Assembly. However, 2 weeks ago, during a press conference held by the Guyana Elections Commission, its legal officer, Kurt De Silva, said the method of rotating the seat was illegal. AFC, though, contends that the elections body's current leadership cannot continue to run GECOM.
The authority in whom we vest the responsibility for determining electoral matters admits an error of this magnitude, then it ought, or its leadership, in the person of the chairman, ought to accept full responsibility and relieve us of the burden of further disclosures.
The party leader believes that for Asha Kisoon to have voted on several pieces of legislation over the past year when she's not entitled to occupy a seat in the National Assembly and participate in its deliberations has caused irreparable damage to GECOM.
This admission by GECOM is no ordinary admission of error. This has been a gross dereliction of duty.
Dr. Kisoon has since refused to give up her seat, offering no comment on the issue. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. Stay with us. You're watching the HGP Nightly News.
Shop and win up to $10 million in cash and prizes at Court's Millionaire Jackpot. Shop from November 1 to December 24, 2024 at any Court store. 10 weekly winners at every Court store countrywide from November 10, 2024. And the grand drawing takes place on December 24, 2024 at the Court's Mega Store. Court's, bringing value home. Conditions apply.
Welcome to SNL Electrical Inc., where lighting and electrical needs are met with expertise and style. From the latest in electrical lamps to durable cables, circuit breakers, panels, we have it all. Illuminate your space with our elegant chandeliers, stunning crystal lights, and versatile pole lights. Looking to upgrade your comfort? Explore top-of-the-line AC units and our diverse selections of stylish styles. Visit us at 170-180 Thomas Street, Kitty, Georgetown. Discover a solution that not only lights up your world but transforms it. Call us on telephone number 226-3018 or 223-1634. SNL Electrical Inc. powering your life with elegance, quality, and care.
Modern Graphics is now the #1 sign manufacturer in the Caribbean. We offer the most modern and contemporary types of signs, including channel letters, halo designs, and architectural signage. With a vast variety of colors and lighting effects to choose from, we can professionally manufacture and install your sign so your business can shine among others. Visit us today at 6 Corbane Park, Annandale. Telephone 220-1977 or like us on Facebook.
It's the most wonderful time of the year, and we've got the most wonderful deals. Get the perfect gift from Digicel. Grab the Samsung A05 for just $17,900, the A25 for $37,900, or treat yourself to the S24 Ultra for only $205,000. And that's not all. Every phone comes with a free 30-day data plan. Don't wait. These holiday savings won't last forever. Visit your nearest Digicel store today. Digicel, the network for everyone, everywhere.
Krishna Rock Establishment. No job is too small or too large. We specialize in all types of fabricating, machinery, excavator repairs, rice field pumps, and hydraulic hoses. Visit us at Lot 113, Block CC Monrepo, East Coast, Demerara, or call 220-9624, 616-9416, or 619-7880. At Krishna Rock Establishment, no job is too small or too large.
Thanks for staying with us here in the HGP Nightly News. In just 1 week, more than 4,000 traffic cases were recorded as the rigorous traffic enforcement campaign continues countrywide. This initiative is part of the ongoing efforts to ensure road safety and compliance with traffic laws. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
According to Traffic Chief Mahindra Singh, the cases were documented between November 24 and 30th, 2024. Key offenses included 791 cases of speeding, with 190 tickets issued along the Heroes Highway alone. Other violations included 192 cases of failing to wear seatbelts, 76 instances of faulty packing of construction materials on motor lorries, and 297 cases involving failure to wear safety helmets or allowing pillion riders without helmets. On November 21, following a stern warning from President Irfan Ali to reckless drunk drivers, Traffic Chief Mahindra Singh and his team visited the Betterforton Station District. The visit emphasized the importance of lawful conduct by drivers and adherence to traffic regulations.
What we're actually doing is focusing more on 1, maintenance issues reference a motor lorry, 2, speeding reference the operation of a motor lorry by a driver.
Singh explained that these measures are crucial for improving road safety and ensuring better use of the country's roadways. The crackdown started along the East Coast corridor and since expanded to other areas.
And this helps now to 1, ensure that there is better use of the road, there is safer use of the road.
Tiana Ko reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Indigenous rights activist Laura George is mounting pressure on the government to provide an update on the revision of the Amerindian Act of 2006 as the rights of the nation's first peoples are continuously under attack. Antonio Day has more.
President Irfan Ali pledged in 2021 that an amended Amerindian Act would be primary legal tool for defending the rights of indigenous peoples, particularly those seeking full control to ancestral and other lands. Ali was at the time speaking at an event in observance of Indigenous Heritage Month. However, a member of the Alliance for Change, Laura George, contends that the government is failing to honor its commitment.
In the Amerindian Act of 2006, there is a seeming lull and silence in terms of what exactly is taking place with the revision process.
The spokeswoman on Indigenous Affairs for a party stressed the importance of updating the almost 2-decade-old Act.
There is a massive push and pressure on lands and territories that Indigenous peoples are still seeking respect for their rights and ownership.
Leader of the Guyana Action Party, Vincent Henry, during a recent interview with the press, said that the rights of Indigenous peoples are constantly under attack.
I came here to represent my people, Indigenous people, and I was not allowed to sit in there. Although I was given the full permission first, I was then removed. Imagine an Indigenous person being removed from official gathering of the two showers. It's time for us to stand up, not only as Guyanese, but together the Indigenous people should join in the whole struggle to ensure that we have a change of government, a better government, which is none other than the AP and the AFC.
George called on the state to be forthcoming as it relates to the current status of consultation on the Act.
The Alliance for Change calls for immediate, clear information in terms of providing to the communities and to everyone else, meaning other stakeholders, what is happening in this process.
Nightly News reached out to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Ryan Tulsiram, and the Ministry's legal officer, Miriam Andrew, for a response, but this proved futile. Antonio De reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
In the South Rupununi region, cattle rustling is becoming an increasingly severe challenge for local ranchers. As the area gains recognition as a tourist destination, local herders like Leon Beard is struggling with theft that threatened their livelihood and the region's economy. This story from Caris Gonzalez.
In the remote South Rupununi region, a growing issue threatening the livelihood of cattle herders, cattle rustling. Despite the area gaining popularity as a tourist destination, the lack of population and isolation makes it a prime target for thieves. For those working in the region, the struggle to safeguard their livestock is becoming increasingly difficult. Leon Beard, a cattle herder at the Wichabai Ranch in South Rupununi, shared deep concerns with the Nightly News. Beard expressed frustration with the growing frequency of cattle thefts, particularly in a region where police resources are limited and the vastness of the land makes it easy for criminals to invade.
One of our neighbors from, not even too far from here, maybe about 10 miles, 50 miles from here, and they come and collect our cows thing, right? So they say they can't bring up the case. And last month, I missed 2 of my horse, and then one come back, and all it was used up. Right, and it was really terrible. It was really bad. Right. So
the isolation and lack of nearby settlements further complicate matters, as reporting crimes to the police proves to be a Herculean task.
This thing happening for years and years and years, and it's a major problem. And no matter if you go to the police and everything, right, they know these people, and they know the person and thing, right, but they still can't do anything about it. I just don't know what's happening there.
The emotional toll of cattle rustling is something Beard knows all too well. He described the sense of fear and discouragement that comes with losing livestock, where ranching is not just a livelihood but a way of life. The loss is not only financial but also deeply personal, he says.
If you go for your animal now, you can't find your animal, it's missing or things like that. It's very terrible, Yeah, it's like, for me, I feel it too, All is not really my animals, but still I looking after the people, animals and things.
Moreover, Beard is calling on authorities to take immediate action.
They got to be serious, and they got to be in action. Right? They have to be doing their job. They have to be doing their part. Unless if they involve in it, and then they can't do anything about it.
For over a century, cattle ranching has been the backbone of Rupununi's economy, providing livelihoods for many in the region. But as Beard and others in the area are discovering, this way of life is under threat. The natural pastures of the Rupununi once supported an abundance of cattle, with Region 9 producing millions of pounds of free-range beef annually. However, today those pastures are producing only a fraction of the past, a stark reminder of the challenges the region now faces. I am Caris Gonzalez reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Caris, for your reporting. Stay with us. There is more news ahead.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455.
This is Niraj Kumar, and I'm part of a team that is 300 plus strong at Guyana Logistics and Support Services Inc. We have done projects for the oil and gas company. We have done projects for CNOC. We have done projects for SBM. Those are the building refurbishment projects. We started doing that by providing work visas, permit, corporate services, helping them with the custom brokerage, then logistics and warehousing and all. We started looking forward. First of all was the international standardization organization ISO certification that we wanted to get. We started the journey for that with CLBD.
Shop and win up to $10 million in cash and prizes at Court's Millionaire Jackpot. Shop from November 1 to December 24, 2024 at any Court store. 10 weekly winners at every Court store countrywide from November 10, 2024. And the grand drawing takes place on December 24, 2024 at the Court's Mega Store. Court's, bringing value home. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to the HGP Nightly News. You need to know that residents of Victoria on the east coast of Demerara are raising alarm as the business owned by a local mechanic is blocking roadways and dumping waste into nearby drains, causing significant disruptions. Neighbors are now calling for swift action from authorities. Kiris Gonzalez has more.
Residents of Wall Street and Butcher Street, Victoria, East Coast, Demerara are at a standstill as a mechanic operating in the area has been blocking the road with his vehicles and dumping waste into nearby drains. Neighbors are calling on local authorities to address this ongoing issue. In an interview with 90 News on Monday, 85-year-old Rudolph Adams, a resident of Wall Street, expresses concerns over the situation. He noted that the road was constructed after his plea as a senior citizen, and it serves as the closest passage to the main road, which is vital for him, especially due to his health. Adams said the mechanic's actions are causing significant distress.
I took 6. I begged this boy, you understand, to remove the vehicle. He refused to remove the vehicle. The vehicle had to come right round to take me to the hospital.
Adams further explained that the mechanic, when conducting oil changes, disposes of waste materials into the nearby drains, which flows into his yard, which worsened the situation.
When the rain falls, the water ends up blocking my yard.
Another local resident added that the mechanic has parked several scrap vehicles near his home, which have now become a dumping ground. The strong odor and flies from the area are a nuisance, and the resident is also urging authorities to intervene.
These vehicles are parked here over 3 years now. And more recently, they come in at dump site. When they throw the garbage, the dog come in and pulling it out, pampers, food back, and all them sort of things.
Meanwhile, Sean Baines, chairman of the Victoria Community Development Council, voiced support for the affected residents. He confirmed that numerous complaints have been made to the Neighborhood Democratic Council, NDC, and the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, but the issue remains unresolved.
Some days you get 4 and 5 in the night, the vehicles parked in the middle of the street. They bring a load of sand. 2 weeks now, this load of sand thrown in the middle of the street. In the morning, you can't even walk through the street. Here, elderly people are living in this area and they want to have the access of this street.
Baines emphasized that while residents do not oppose the mechanic running his business, they believe it is crucial that the road remains accessible to everyone, especially in the event of an emergency.
Nobody is saying that he cannot apply his trade, life goes to everyone, but do it in a decent manner. And, people have been calling on him, and he's not pulling himself together, spilling oil on the ground, spilling oil in the drain. You understand? These are things have to stop.
Furthermore, Baines highlighted that he contacted the NDC in November and was told that a letter would be sent to the mechanic regarding the issue. 90 News, however, reached out to the Nabacalis NDC for an update on the situation. The deputy chairwoman confirmed that a notice had been issued to the mechanic demanding the removal of his vehicles and the sand blocking the passageway. However, a copy of the letter was not made available, and attempts to contact the mechanic for a comment were unsuccessful. I am Kiris Gonzalez reporting for the HGP 90 News.
Starting January 8, 2025, Guyanese nationals traveling to the United Kingdom without the visa must apply for a special authorization. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
The British High Commission has advised that Guyanese citizens wishing to travel to the United Kingdom without a visa as of January 8, 2025 must apply for an electronic travel authorizations ETA. The Commission said those denied an ETA will need to go through the visa application process. This new requirement applies to most visa-exempt travelers and is part of the UK's effort to enhance border security and improve the travel experience, the High Commission said in a statement. quote unquote. Travelers arriving in the UK on January 8, 2025 must ensure ETA approval beforehand, though those flying late on January 7, 2025 should ensure the ETA is in place. If an application is refused, travelers must apply for a UK visa, the statement added. Applications for an ETA can be done via the UK ETA app, available on Apple and Google Play stores, or through the official gov.uk website. The process is simple, takes less than 15 minutes, and costs £10, the Commission indicated. Decisions are typically provided within 3 working days, and app users may receive quicker responses. Once approved, the ETA will allow multiple trips to the United Kingdom for up to 6 months per visit, lasting either 2 years or until the passport linked to the application expires. The ETA does not apply to British or Irish passport holders or travelers to British overseas territories like the Turks and Caicos Islands. At a November 2022 press conference, High Commissioner Jane Miller announced the visa waiver alongside President Irfan Ali.
Today is a historic day for the UK-Guyana relations, and I'm delighted to inform you that as of the 9th of November, those with a valid Guyanese passport can visit the UK visa-free.
Miller added that persons seeking long stays or to study or work still require the requisite visas. The UK envoy had noted that the waiver should be seen as a sign of the confidence our country has in Guyana.
Together with the direct flight that will be happening at the end of March with British Airways, we believe this change is going to be transformative to our already strong relationship.
Tianako reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
The Working People's Alliance on Monday called for a social and economic audit following the completion of the promised $100,000 cash grant initiative. This call was made during a media conference on Monday. Daisy Richards reports.
Professor Dr. Clive Thomas, member of the Working People's Alliance on Monday, called for a social and economic audit after the distribution of the one-off $100,000 cash grant exercise.
When we undertake important social and political experiments in our country, we should try to learn the lessons that the particular opportunity that we have undertaken give us.
Professor Thomas highlighted that in the process of arriving at the cash grant initiative, the incumbent administration has made much movement in arriving at the current decision. He believes an audit will ensure transparency and accountability.
The social economic audit, or the evaluation you might call it, to be ensured as far as the public is concerned that we did the very best type of operational executive exercise.
In light of this, the WPA member added that although the financial audit is important to making sure that the funds were distributed fairly, the social and economic audit is equally important. Expounding that in the Buxton proposal, there were also suggestions for a feasibility study among other various studies.
Because from both the feasibility study and the pilot study, we would have had opportunities to learn lessons from the actual implementation of such a plan, how it will work in a riverine area, upstream Demerara, how it will work in downstream parts of the deep interior.
The WPA's main concern is that the cash grant exercise might create opportunities for trickery, budget, and electoral hustles. For HGP Nightly News, I am Daisy Richards.
Thank you, Daisy. Stay with us. There is more news ahead.
This is Offshore Diaries.
Up to $10 million in cash and prizes at Court's Millionaire Jackpot. Shop from November 1 to December 24, 2024 at any Court store. 10 weekly winners at every Court store countrywide from November 10, 2024. And the grand drawing takes place on December 24, 2024 at the Quartz Mega Store. Quartz, bringing value home. Conditions apply.
This Christmas, Digicel is bringing you the gift of millions. 10 lucky customers will become millionaires for Christmas. Top up $1,000 or more for your chance to win $1 million. Turn your Christmas into a celebration of cash and cheer. 2 new millionaires every week. The countdown to Christmas millions is on. Top up $1,000 or more today for your chance to win. Digicel, the network for everyone, everywhere.
Good evening, I'm Daisy Richards and welcome to Monday's edition of the Regional News. We begin with news from the Bahamas. A senior officer from the Royal Bahamas Police Force and a senior official from the Royal Bahamas Defense Force have been arrested in Florida and charged with conspiracy to import cocaine, firearms possession, and a firearms conspiracy. Chief Superintendent Elvis Curtis and Chief Petty Officer Darren Roker are set to face federal court proceedings in New York. Additionally, Sergeant Prince Albert Simonet, a retired police officer, has also been named in the indictment and has been immediately suspended from his duties. Other Bahamians are reportedly involved in the case, according to Police Commissioner Clayton Fernander, who assured the public that further updates will be provided as more details emerge. While in Trinidad and Tobago, a Claxton Bay man and his girlfriend were shot and killed in their house, and their infant child was speared by a lone killer on Thursday night. Basdio Lolan, 46, a scrap iron worker, and Whitney Narine, 21, a laborer employed at the San Fernando City Corporation, were killed in Lolan's house on Teak Avenue on Macaulay Road. The couple's 7-month-old son in their bedroom was not injured. A police report stated that police officers received information around 9 p.m. that 2 people were shot in the house on Teak Drive. The first responders responded and proceeded to the scene. Police officers were told by an informant that he heard a man's voice saying "AA," followed by several rounds of gunfire. The informant told police that a man clad in black clothing and a black jersey covering his face shot at Leland in a bedroom. Moments later, when Narine ran into the bedroom, she too was shot by the gunman. The informant then picked up the infant son and ran out of the house and away from the scene. The bodies were examined by a district medical officer who ordered the bodies removed to the mortuary, pending postmortems at the Forensic Science Center in Federation Park. Detectives of the Homicide Bureau of Investigations Region 3, crime scene investigators, and officers of the St. Margaret's Police Station are investigating. CSI officers retrieved 13 spent shells from the crime scene. Finally, on Saturday, November 30, 2024, at around 11:13 a.m., the Virgin Islands Police Department's 911 emergency call center received multiple calls of shots fired and multiple shot spotter alerts of gunfire in the Grove Place area of Cozy Corner. Callers reported 1 man down. VIPD and emergency medical services arrived at the reported location and confirmed the male individual had no sign of life. All supporting units and agencies reported to the scene of the incident. The victim was identified by his next of kin as 38-year-old Jamal Rivera. This is an ongoing investigation. Thank you for watching. Do have a productive week. Until next time.
Winston Jordan fact-checks Charandas Prasad. Coalition government took no loans after 2018 no-confidence motion. Patterson exposes Jack Doe regarding Exim Bank loan approval. And Laura George mounts pressure on government regarding revision of Amerindian Act of 2006. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Travis Chase. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.